Welcome in. It's the Arrowhead Addict Chiefs pregame show. Patrick Allen, Matt Verderam, Matt Connor, Sterling Holmes. Almost the whole gang is here to get you ready for Chiefs versus Bucks. It's been a long day of football if you got up for the early game that took place in London. But let's get everybody ready for the real game, the Sunday night football game between the Chiefs and the Bucks. How you doing, fellas? How you doing? How was your day of football?
It was great. That couch has a person-sized mark. All 5'10" of me was just laying down all day on that. It's going to happen again in about 30 minutes, an hour, whenever the Chiefs game starts. I'm going right back to that couch. Great day.
Yeah. Matt Connor, I know you've been working a little bit, getting everybody ready on arrowheadaddict.com for the coming action. How are things going for you?
Yeah, it's a good day. I took a break from my son's soccer game today. He got hit in the arm with the soccer ball and then started to limp off the field. That summarizes my 8-year-old's athletic approach.
It's a good soccer player.
Should have gotten orange roll ball.
Yeah.
That's a Josh Allen move. Did you see that Josh Allen floppity flop today?
Yeah, he's got some of that in him, so he made his dad proud.
Guys,
yeah, I feel a little nervous for tonight. How are you guys feeling?
Verderam?
I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Look, as far as the day went, it was fine. I've been sitting there writing Stacking the Box for most of it. I'm pretty much done with the column, except for whatever I'm going to write about the Chiefs and the Bucks. I feel fine. I'll tell you what. Here's my initial take off the top about this week. The AFC West sucks. So if the Chiefs don't have a big injury tonight, as far as the division goes, they could lose this game 38-0, and I would pick them 10 times out of 10 to win the division. Like, the Chargers beat the Texans, but did everything imaginable to lose the game. Like 27-7 at halftime. You're like, all right, feeling like this is going to be a game where the Chargers get right. Nope, like holding on for dear life. And then I watched the Broncos and the Raiders. I mean, look, first of all, Javonte Williams and Randy Gregory both leave with injuries or get carted off. Hopefully they're all right. We'll find out. Russell Wilson had the best game of his tenure there, and yet didn't throw for 250 yards. And they scored 23 points against a Raiders team that can't stop anybody. And the defense, which supposedly was like this big calling card for Denver, just got absolutely smoked on the ground all day long. 214 rushing yards. Jacobs went crazy. You look at these teams and you're like, do you got here? Quick survey. Any of them, are any of the other three teams in the division getting to 10 wins?
I think the Chargers will.
Yeah, Chargers.
Okay.
Maybe.
They're the only one that I even have. I think they could get to exactly 10 wins. The Chiefs get to 11 wins to win this division. And they get to 12. My God, they're going to be having a bye week in week 18. Like, Denver and the Raiders might not even win half their games. These teams are awful. So I feel pretty good about that. But, man, I'll tell you, as far as tonight's game goes, anytime Brady's coming off a loss and he's getting like half the team back, it's not great. So we're going to see how this plays out.
With the defense. I think that's my biggest concern. Well, let's get into the game in just a second. Before we do that, obviously, you know that we're brought to you by KC Beer. They are our sponsor, so shout out to our sponsors, KC Beer. Yeah, nice. Connor rocking the hat as always. And a shout out to all of our members. If you're just stumbling on this podcast for the first time, first of all, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. But otherwise, if you want to hang out with us, we're building a Chiefs community here. And you can do that by joining. And we're going to be watching the game in our private Discord. It's for members only. We'll be hanging out in there, watching the action tonight, commenting on the game. So if you want to join a Chiefs community, consider supporting this podcast. All right, let's get into the game. So first of all, the inactives. For the Chiefs, unfortunately for all those who were dreaming of this, the Ronald Jones revenge game is not going to happen. He is inactive tonight. So is Shane Buechele, Mike Dana. That hurts Chiefs pass rush a little bit. Darian Kennard, Joshua Kando, and then, of course, unfortunately, Harrison Butker. For the Bucs, fellas, they're getting back their receivers. Chris Godwin is going to be back. Julio Jones is going to be back. And, of course, Mike Evans will be out there. No tight end, Kyle Rudolph. No wide receiver, Scotty Miller, Bashad Perryman. But a much stronger Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense that the Chiefs will have to contend with. I want to ask you about that in a second. But first, we got to talk about the kicking situation. The Chiefs kicker tonight will be a fellow by the name of Matthew Wright. Quick primer on him. He spent 3 games with the Steelers in 2020. He made all 4 of his field goal attempts and 7 extra points. Then he got cut loose. He was with the Jaguars in 2021. He played 14 games, was 21 of 24 on field goal attempts, made 13 of 15 extra points. So, not terrible, but not good enough to be hanging on with an NFL team in one of 32 jobs. So let's start with you, Matt Connor. How confident are you in the Chiefs kicking game tonight?
I feel good about it. Wright did fine last year. I mean, Amendola was a questionable signing before, it even happened. We were lucky he did fine in the Chargers game, and that wasn't a story. So, he did fine. The new guy seems to be pretty automatic from within 40. So if they just want to go like, hey, we just want a guy who can get it done. But I think Wright even kicked 2 50-yarders in a game last year. I mean, he's got some leg on him too. It can't be worse. And we saw Justin Reed kicking like a 57-yarder before the game. I mean, maybe, hey, he's always there if we need it. No, I think the special teams snafu is totally behind us. They just can't play like that again. It would be impossible, I think.
What about you, Verderam? Do you think the Chiefs, okay, maybe they're not terribly confident in the kicker, but how does it affect their game plan in a game like this? Are they going for it on the other side of the 50 and 4th and 4s with Mahomes on the field?
There's no way I'm letting that guy kick a field goal unless I have to. Why? I mean, look, if it's 4th and 9, okay, and it's a 38-yard field goal, you're going to trot him out there. If it is anything less than 4th and 5 on the plus side of the field, I'm going for it. I don't care. I don't need to see Matt Amendola, the sequel, tonight. No part of me needs to see this. Okay, to me, put the ball in Mahomes' hands. But I got to tell you, this is one of these games where, if you're going to win this game, this is going to be a team effort deal. This isn't going to be 1 or 2 guys carrying the team, or one of the 3 phases, or even 2 of the 3 phases doing it. You're going to have to play 1 of 3 phases, and their special teams. I'm not worried about the return game. I think that was a one-off situation. However, I will say this, because they've done this. They have a history of this on their toe. It drives me out of my mind. The next time some damn guy comes flying out of the end zone after he fields a kickoff 8 yards deep in the end zone, I'm gonna take my TV and throw it off my roof. Take a knee, you moron, and take the ball to 25-yard line. And by the way, I didn't blame the players, because it's a coaching point, because guys have done this for 10 years with Dave Tobe, who's a great special teams coach and a great guy, by the way. But it's why are you teaching your guys to do? It's one thing if you have Dante Hall back there, and it's listen, this guy could bust one at any point in time. Yeah, they don't have Dante Hall back there, so stop it. I'm not worried about the return game, the coverage game. I'm worried about Wright. I'm worried about him kicking the ball. He was short on a 56-yarder in pregame. That's terrifying. You're an NFL kicker. Now Justin Reed hit a 57-yarder, but I don't want Matthew Wright being involved in this game at all unless he absolutely has to be.
Sterling, how you feel about it?
I think he'll be fine. I think it's a slight overreaction because what we saw last week from Amendola, if the Chiefs are more aggressive on 4th and 3s, 4th and 4s, first off, they should be doing that anyways, but especially without Harrison Butker, I'm all in. That puts the ball in the best player's hand on the team. That's put the ball in the $500 million quarterback of Mahomes. I like that move, but I don't think Wright's going to be a disaster. He's not been a disaster in his career in the NFL. He made a clutch 55-yarder against the Bills. What was that, last year? To send it to tie or send it to overtime. I don't think Matthew Wright's some incredible kicker, or else he'd be on a team full time, but I don't think he's going to be a disaster. I do think he's probably going to be better than Amendola.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs just need to not overthink this. And I think what happened last week was that they were overthinking it. I think that, honestly, I put it on Andy Reid. That guy goes out there and he misses a kick, and shit happens, right? He's not a super accurate kicker, but he misses that one kick. And then after that, they played scared the rest of the game. And if you show no confidence in your kicker, why should your kicker have any confidence? Right. So then when they needed him later, they had another problem. And so it's he's oh, of course, yeah, I suck. The team doesn't believe in me. They're running fakes. Just believe in your offense. And what's the best part of your offense? It's Patrick Mahomes, right? So if you're not in a crazy predicament and you're in like a 3rd and 20, then yeah, if it's 3rd and manageable and you're trying to win this game, then just go for it with Mahomes. But if you need a field goal, just send this guy out there and let him do his job. And if he misses it, he misses it. Send him out there the next time. If he misses it again, okay, like then maybe, then maybe you back things off a little bit.
But if that already happens, like we usually laid out, if they miss 2 kicks, they're losing this fucking game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you don't have the leverage in this game to go, well, if we missed 2 kicks, they did it against the Colts and they lost, who, by the way, got boat raced today by Tennessee at home. So a nice loss. Right. No. You can't do that and just say, well, if he misses and costs us 6 points, then we'll yank him. No. Like you either have confidence. To me, this, by the way, this decision should have already been made. They should know what they're doing right now in those situations. They should know, hey, from this yard line in, on this type of a situation, we are going for it. Okay. Yeah. Now, look, if something wild happens in the game, you adjust, of course. But otherwise, like, they should know. And then, by the way, they should also know what plays they would call. Like, they should know right now, okay, on this down, on this distance, from this portion of the field, all the way in, we're going for it. And if we get this close, then we're going to kick because, okay, fine, it's a 25-yard field goal. We feel like we can hit it. They should know all that stuff. If they don't know all that stuff, they've already screwed the pooch on special teams. So they need to be very aware of what they're doing, where they are in the field, all those numbers and calculations better have been made on Friday. If they weren't, it's a failure by the coaching staff.
I agree with that. They should have a plan. They should know what they're going to do in this game. And I felt like against the Colts, they didn't, right? Because I didn't have as much of a problem with the fake field goal attempt as everybody else did. Because they've run fakes with Townsend before, and he's got a good arm, and they've been successful. But in that particular situation, if you were going to go for it, you should have just gone with it with Mahomes, right? And that to me was they're like, we don't know what we want to do. So I agree with you, Verderam. They better have a game plan coming into this one because this is not. I know they haven't played well this year, but they've dealt with a ton of injuries. This is not the Indianapolis Colts, and the Indianapolis Colts beat you last week. So the Chiefs would be concerned. Speaking of concerns, the defense played really well so far this year. Held up pretty well against Justin Herbert once they made some adjustments. They've been very good against the run. They did get posted up pretty bad by Mike Williams in that first half. Now they're going up against a team with some serious size at wide receiver, some experience, Super Bowl experience at wide receiver. Their third wheel is Julio Jones, who even though he's not what he once was and is usually broken, you saw in week 1, Brady hit him for a big chunk play. So he can still do damage to you. Do you think this Chiefs young secondary, Sterling, can hold up against this revived Bucs offense?
I think they can hold up, but my goodness, of course Brady would get all of his weapons back for the Chiefs game.
Right.
Of course Godwin's ready for this one. Of course Mike Evans is back. Of course Julio Jones is now healthy enough to at least play. Of course it would happen against Kansas City in the youth movement that's going on back there in the secondary. I think they'll be fine. This will be their biggest test. You mentioned the big bodies. I'm a little bit nervous for Watson, as good as he's been so far, having to go up against either a Godwin, a Mike Evans, a Julio Jones. That is a tough ask for a rookie. L'Jarius Sneed's going to have to be all over. Spags is going to have to dial up some unique packages. But again, it comes down to, can they not lose almost every 50-50 ball? The Jamar Chase, Travarius Ward situations. Right. Can they not lose? Can they make a play on a 50-50 ball, especially in the red zone? That's what it's going to come down to.
They always seem to lose those 50-50 balls. And when they don't, they seem to panic and get a pass interference call. What do you think, Matt Connor? Is the defense going to be able to keep it rolling tonight? It's probably their biggest test of the year.
Yeah, I'm not as worried. If I'm the Bucs, I'm a little bit worried knowing that Godwin's been out for weeks, and then now he's back finally. Jones has been out for weeks, now he's back. Russell Gage was questionable. Brashad Perriman was doubtful coming in to the game. I mean, it's not like they're all healthy or spring chickens. I mean, everyone's kind of limping into this one, at least. So, it'd be interesting to see how much they can go, whether they're game ready for 60 minutes or whether they're on some sort of a snap count with, special packages or design plays for when they can use them on unlimited basis. So, we're not facing them at full strength. The offense hasn't looked good anyway. I mean, the Bucs aren't going to be easy by any stretch, but it's the defense that scares me more than the offense, even though they've got those pieces back. I think if anything, it's the fact that they got Donovan Smith back at left tackle that really helps to shore up an offensive line that's just been,
right,
hurting at several positions.
Yeah, and Verteram, I want to ask you on that point. When we talked on Thursday for our pregame or our preview show, you said if I was Steve Spagnuolo, I would blitz the crap out of Brady. I'd just come after him all game. Now that was before we knew exactly who was going to be out there at wide receiver. Doesn't change.
No,
doesn't change for you.
I would, if I were Steve Spagnuolo, I'd blitz myself off the edge. I'd bring 12. Listen. In all seriousness, you have to get home with him. Like, I don't care how well they cover and what disguise they show. If he's got time, he's going to kill you. And to me in this game, I don't think the Chiefs edge rushers are going to beat the tackles of the Bucs a lot. The tackles are really good. The interior is not good. Like, they need to give them looks where they have to single block Jones in this game. Now, you can sometimes sim pressure. You can mug up an A gap with Bolton, okay? Or you can slide up a corner and show a nickel blitz or something like that and force them to slide in a way that they have to block him one-on-one. Look, as good as the Buccaneers wide receivers are, let's also be honest about something. They're not fast. This is not a group of burners with Tampa. And as Matt pointed out, and I totally agree with him, like, yeah, they're all playing, but they're not 100%. Evans is. He's coming off a suspension. Godwin hasn't played since one half of football in week 1, and before that had a torn ACL. Like, is Godwin playing 70 snaps tonight? I'd be kind of surprised, right? Russell Gage has been dealing with a hamstring injury. We all know how that goes, okay? Julio Jones, God bless him. He's a Hall of Famer. He's perpetually injured. I'm not, like, if I'm the Chiefs, I'm begging Julio Jones to beat me in this game. I don't care. And I'll tell you right now, I'd play a ton of man coverage in this game. Godwin's going to be in the slot more than not. I would put Snead on him one-on-one. I think the Chiefs can win that matchup. And I would double Evans and say, go ahead, Tom, beat me anywhere else. I'd play single high and I'd blitz the pants off him in this game. I would come after them over and over and over. I have no fear of their backs or receivers catching the ball. I have no fear of Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles out coaching the Chiefs in this game from an offensive standpoint. Like, if I'm the Chiefs, if I'm going to lose, I'm going down swinging. Like, I'm not backing up off this team. Look, Brady, if there's one thing about him, he is not mobile. He cannot move. And he's never been able to deal with pressure up the middle. That is the one thing with him. If you can do that, you can cause all kinds of problems. If I'm the Chiefs, my entire game plan is just to loop and stunt and twist and blitz and get Jones one-on-one and get up the middle. And if you force him to make one bad throw and he gets picked, that might win you the game. So no, I don't give a rat's ass who's playing receiver for the Bucs. I would blitz him and force the ball out quick, and I have those corners rolled up on the line of scrimmage and say, get on him at the line, disrupt their timing, beat the hell out of him 5, 6, 7 yards down the field, and force him to have to throw into tight windows all night. And if he beats you like that, fine. But that's how I would play the game.
Let us know what you think in the chat. Should the Chiefs blitz the crap out of Tom Brady tonight? I mean, I like it. You got me ready to run through a fucking wall, Verteram. I'm just
like Madden. Engage 8 every single play. Just
go. Fuck it, right? Who cares? We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose going down swinging. I'm good with that. So we've got a defensive game plan, it sounds like. But what about on offense? The Chiefs have not been good since week 1 on offense. They haven't been in rhythm. They don't seem to have an identity. They don't run the ball. Nobody runs the ball against Tampa Bay. So it's probably unlikely that the Chiefs bust out a running game tonight. That means they're going to have to throw it. And the Bucs, in interviews this week, they're talking some smack. They think they're going to have a coming out party. They think they're going to sack Mahomes a lot. They don't think the Chiefs' offensive line is going to hold up. Sterling, what did you think of those comments by Shaq Barrett about the Chiefs' offensive line? And can Kansas City get anything going on offense tonight?
Yeah, I am hoping Orlando Brown Jr. comes out just pissed off, pancakes the hell out of him. Don't piss off a guy that size. Joe Tooney is all pro. Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith have had a slightly down season. I expected to bounce back. I mean, if you're an offensive line getting called out like that, you have to have some pride. You have to shut them up and say, no, 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 screw that. We are as good as we can be. We're going to shut you up. I think the offense is going to be fine. I'm thinking both teams, frankly, have a offensive output that a lot of folks aren't expecting. I know you guys aren't fully on board with the healthy wide receivers for the Buccaneers, but that does help Brady. Obviously, that size helps with him getting the ball out quick because the offensive line of the Buccaneers is not very good. But Kansas City, I think they break out as well. I don't think we're going to see them what happened last week. I think we'll see a lot of screen passes. Maybe we'll see a lot more Sky Moore. I mean, Sky Moore needs to be out there. If he can get open, put him out there. He's got Johnny Benchian-sized hands. I don't want to see any more drops from Watson, from anyone else. If Hardman's not 100%, if he's out there limping because of his foot, why is he out there? It makes no sense. Give me Sky Moore. Give me the Chiefs offense to bounce back. I'm thoroughly looking forward to a high-scoring game.
Matt Connor, what do you think? Can they get it going tonight?
Yeah, what I think is most intriguing here is that Orlando Brown disappeared from the injury report this week. I mean, we've seen him have some sort of knee issue that's been listed, even if he's a full participant. He's not there anymore. He's taken his lumps early on in the season and from fans too. After some of the smack talk, from the Bucs, you got to wonder, here's a guy, we've talked about this before. He's bet on himself. This is a big, big year for him. He's got a chance tonight in prime time. If he can put together a strong showing, he can begin to change some of the narrative floating around him, and maybe he's feeling better. And I'm just interested in watching him and a hopeful improvement of the offensive front in front of Mahomes. And I hope it starts with Brown.
Verderam, I'm really, really pessimistic. I feel like the Chiefs are going to get stymied on offense tonight, that they're just not where they need to be yet. And this is a bad matchup for them to have their coming out party and to get it together. I don't think they're at rock bottom yet. Am I just a paranoid, pessimistic fan overreacting to 2 weeks of bad football?
No, because if they don't have a good game plan for this, they're going to get their asses kicked. Look, let's just be clear about it. If they don't have a really good, solid, reasoned game plan, a coherent game plan against this team, they are going to get their asses absolutely beat up and down the field. Okay, and you're going to see a whole lot of dancing out of Tampa's defense. Now, I will say this on the flip side. I think there's a way to exploit the hell out of their defense, and I think the Chiefs can do it, but they have to be smart in how they do it. Now, they're not going to run the ball in this game. I'd be floored if Kansas City just starts gashing Tampa's defense. They're not built to do that. They're not ready to play that way. But Juju is a big slot receiver. They do not have a big slot corner. I would just run slants and crossers and then once you get that going, then run a little arrow route and move them outside and let them work. Juju's got to be a big part of this game. They're not going to win this game if Juju Smith-Schuster has 3 catches for 28 yards. They're not winning. The other thing is in this game, look, Devin White's a really good linebacker. He's a terrific linebacker. He covers like me in space, okay? That is the one huge weakness he has. You need to do everything you can to create matchups where the backs and Kelsey are against him. Especially, look, he likes to blitz quite a bit. If you know that he's got the back, and if the back leaks out that he's got to go with him, that back should leak out every single time. Every single time. And force him to A, not be a blitzer, and B, to cover in space. The Chiefs have 3 running backs who can catch the ball. Utilize them. Let's see it. Let's see them do it. They haven't done it all year long. The other thing in this game, and I've been harping on this for God knows how long, they need to run some screen passes in this game. You have to slow them down. And I'm not advocating for 8 to 10 screens. I'm saying 4 to 6 screens in the game. Run some motion at the snap. You've got to make them take a false step. They're very fast, but they're not very big. If you can make them take a false step, they'll take themselves out of the play in some regard. So if you're the Chiefs, you have to be able to do that. It also will help your offensive line tremendously. If Andy's just going to call a bunch of 5 and 7 step drops with guys running 15 yards down the field, okay, that's Super Bowl 55. You cannot play like that. You have to be willing to get yards after the catch and be selective. And Patrick Mahomes has to do the same thing. If that's the case, I think the Chiefs win the game. If they come out with the game plan where everything's down the field and they're playing zone on defense, I think this game's a boat racing. We'll see.
All right. It's disturbing to be thinking about the Chiefs getting blown out of this game, but not as disturbing as the talk in the chat about a potential Matt Verderam OnlyFans.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here for the money. Look, if the price is right, ladies and gentlemen.
The man will do anything. He'll do anything for an extra buck. You guys are willing to pay. He's willing to play.
Oh,
God help us. It's not even.
Oh, please no.
That's a bit much.
We're not even into the post-game show yet. Like things are, and we're already off the rails. All right, the game is quickly approaching, so let's get into our keys for the game so we can get out of here and watch this thing. And I got a brisket that's about ready to come off the smoker. So it's a pork butt. Sorry, yeah, I wish it was a brisket. All right, anyway, keys to the game. Your keys to the game, Matt Connor.
I mean, I think we've talked them all out. I don't know what else to say.
What's your one thing? What is one thing the Chiefs have to do if they want to win this game?
I mean, there's got to be some offensive chemistry. I guess I'll put it there. I mean, there's got to be some level that, I mean, if they come out, he's come out every game and like overthrown receivers and it just looks like they're not on the same page. And from the sideline play calling to Mahomes' presence to the offensive line to what the receivers end up doing versus maybe what, like, everything just seems off. And if they come out that way again, I think it's just over. I think if they can look like we're on the same page, we know what we're doing, we're ready for this team, I'm confident that, Chiefs can beat anyone in the NFL. But yeah.
All right, Verderam, your key.
Win the line of scrimmage. You've got to slow them down up front when you're on offense. And I don't care if it means bringing an extra guy or two. You've got to get home in this game. You cannot let him sit back. He will kill you.
Sterling?
Don't overthink it on offense. When you get to 3rd and 1, get to 3rd and 2, 4th and 1 on the other side, don't overthink it. Don't run a trick play to McCole Hardman. Give the ball to Michael Burton on a fullback dive. Just get the yard. Don't overthink it, Andy Reid, especially in the red zone. I'm trusting the offensive line in this game. Maybe I'm an idiot. I'm probably an idiot for multiple reasons, but I'm an idiot for trusting the offensive line in this game. I think the Chiefs O-line has a bounce back game here.
I think the Chiefs, my big key for this game is get the ball out fast. Patrick needs to it's going to be there, right? The check down, the hot read, it's going to be there. Mahomes needs to get the ball out fast, take that, slow down that pass rush a little bit, do his offensive line some favors. When it's not there, I know he loves to look downfield. He loves to keep his eyes downfield. It's one of the things that makes him great. But one of the other things that makes him great, especially in high leverage games, is his ability to scoop and run with the football. I think in this game, I'd like to see him get the ball out fast, and I'd like this to be one of those games, kind of like the Bills playoff game or against Tennessee, where if he has to a few times and he needs to protect himself, but he needs to be willing to make a decision, take off, and get those extra yards because he should have the room to do it. And I think that'll put Tampa's defense in a little bit of a bind as well. If he starts taking off in the first quarter and says, hey, I'm a threat to run, and then they've got to spy him. So that's something he always has in his back pocket. They don't use it all the time, and for good reason. This is a big game. I know it's against an NFC team, but they got a chance to pull away from the division a little bit here and get their season on track. If they lose this game, if it gets ugly, I mean, yeah, they got the Raiders next week and then at Buffalo. So, they could be sitting here at 500 in a little bit, or they could be above 500. And I think this game's a big key for them. Let us know your keys to the game out there in the chat. Shout out to Flapjack City, to Keith, to Angry Drunken German. Happy Oktoberfest, Angry Drunken German. I'm going to be drinking some KC beer tonight during the game. Chris Albright says, if they get quick run, no huddle, and don't let the Bucs catch the breath. That's an interesting approach. I would feel a little bit better about the no huddle if the Chiefs seemed like they had some offensive chemistry, but maybe that'll help them kind of get into a little bit of a rhythm. I love it. Angry Drunken German says, Prost, buddy. All right, we're going to get out of here. We're going to go watch the game. Listen, if you want to watch the game with us, you can become a member. You can do it right now. You can go to arrowheadaddict.com/memberships, or you can look at the link in the description here on the YouTube channel. Just hit join, hit that thumbs up button on your way out. We'll be back right here at halftime for our Chiefs half game show. And then after the game for hopefully our third Chiefs victory party of the season. Thank you guys so much for showing up for the pregame show. Keep the faith. For Matt Verderam, for Matt Connor, for Matt Connor's beer, and for Sterling Holmes, I am Patrick Allen. We'll see you at halftime. Let's get it. Go Chiefs.